I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 5 minutes after the hour, we're going to be bringing you news, views, things to choose, nothing to lose. Kick off your shoes, don't get the blues. Here comes the news. If the new iPad Pro you got for Christmas is bent in the center, don't bother looking at an appointment at the Apple Store or at an authorized dealer. Just return the tablet because the genius at the bar isn't going to care. Why? Because apparently Apple doesn't want you to think the bend is a problem. It started like this. A couple of weeks ago, people began complaining on forums that their new iPad Pros were bent. Then photos began making the rounds showing iPads that were clearly bent at the center, with one side perceptibly higher than the other when lying flat on a table. At first, it seemed like a nothing story. The initial reaction that we all had was that the result of a production defect that presumably affected a small batch of devices. Affected devices would be replaced at Apple stores. The bent units would make their way through the channel and then peter out entirely, and business would proceed as usual. But as the story developed, it quickly became headline news. Why? Because Apple announced that it isn't going to repair or replace the affected models. After a few unofficial comments that were less than clear, Apple VP Dan Riccio responded to a user's email with a surprising statement saying that the new iPad Pro's unibody design meets or exceeds all of Apple's high-quality standards of design and precision manufacturing. If that's Apple's latest standard of quality, things are far worse than the company's falling stock price. There's enough photographic proof that a number of warped iPad Pros are indeed arriving in customers' hands, but in the face of this mounting evidence, Apple hasn't indicated that it will replace any of them. In fact, Apple seems to be actively trying to convince users there's nothing wrong with their tablets at all. Basically, Apple is saying these iPads are either A, not bent, or B, supposed to be bent. Forget the fact that Apple is excusing a clear defect in a premium device. The iPad Pro starts at $800 and only hit shelves 2 months ago. So anyone who already has one is pretty much guaranteed to be a die-hard Apple fan. They want the latest designs and they want to show them off to anyone who walks by. And now Apple is telling them that a bent iPad is normal. If this is the new Apple way, it's more concerning than flat iPhone XR sales. It's not the production issue that's worrying because when you're making millions of products each quarter, defects will surely arise. It's the response that's troubling. So our poll of the week at soundbytes.org, that is Bytes with a Y, Francis would like to remind you, is Apple denies or dismisses bent new iPad Pros. Your choices are my new iPad Pro is definitely bent, my new iPad Pro is fine, and Apple problems? Huh. So far, we've only got 26 votes, and nobody's got an Apple iPad Pro, apparently. So everybody's voted for Apple problems? Huh. Now I know you'll have more to say about this. So if you scroll down on the right under Fascinating Stuff, you will see the forums. The second forum down is the poll discussion. Currently, at least, the very first item under poll discussion is 29 December 18. Apple denies/dismisses bent new iPad Pros. And, of course, if you'd like to discuss this or dang near anything on the planet, give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 1-800-790-0415.
One of the problems that is happening is there are hundreds, and probably more by now, of YouTube videos of people opening iPads and bending them.
Yes, that's a separate issue.
But well, half of it. Oh my God, you just bent and destroyed a $800,000 product, you idiot!
Right.
So apparently they have enough sponsors.
Right. That's the whole point of some of these channels. They destroy. They buy brand new products and destroy them. Yeah,
they destroy them on purpose. And new out of the box shouldn't have a bend in it. But if you bend it, it's going to bend. Metal bends.
Yeah, well, right.
What is it? Ceramic cracks, glass shatters, metal bends.
Right, right. But what they're saying is they didn't bend them.
Right.
Now, it's certainly possible they got bent in shipping, but if the box doesn't show any damage.
Yeah, and aren't they packed in some type of styrofoam or something?
Right. They are packed well. One thing Apple has always done is premium packaging. And so that's fine. But the big thing is if the packaging shows no damage whatsoever, but this brand new thing you take out of the box is bent.
I can't watch this. He just took a lighter to the screen.
Well, that's a different thing.
And then he's going to bend it.
That's somebody who's doing it on purpose. They're doing that on purpose, and I get that. That's separate from I took it out of the box and it was bent.
And some of this goes back to what we said for years on computers, that people will frequently pick up their computer by one hand,
Right.
and squish the CD tray or the CD
Right.
slot, or they'll pick it up by the screen, but one hand, and
Yep.
and crack the hinge off, or
Right.
squish the screen and break the glass.
Right. Or they close it, but there's something sitting on the keyboard, like a pen,
Yeah.
and that pops the hinge.
Or they
this-
break some keys
Or they
because
break some keys.
you know, because they squished it down in there and causes the keys to snap or break.
And that's another issue that people have with Macs is that their mania for thin
Yeah.
has made the keys so
There's no
small.
throw, no travel.
There's no travel, which is painful for those of us with carpal tunnel.
It's supposed to prevent carpal tunnel because your fingers don't have to move so far. But if you already have it, it's worse.
Yeah.
Exactly right. But also getting the slightest
to the
little
issue.
thing under there.
Yeah, you get a crumb under there, and they
is a real
put
problem.
a
And that's-
plastic condom around every key on the new models.
They put a condom on the keys, and you can also buy a keyboard condom to put over it. I was worried that these were going to have the same issue, the Chromebooks, because they're also light and small. But as you can see, that's pretty much flush. This is raised a little bit.
So you have scissor keys. I have butterfly keys.
You have butterfly keys, which is possibly the problem.
Yeah.
Oops.
But yeah, it's an issue and it's like I said, it's not the issue. It's not the bend that's an issue for me. Stuff happens. Not everyone that comes out is bent. They get bent in production. That's acceptable. What's bothering me is the response from Apple.
Yeah.
It's not about the bend. It's about the response. Apple has responded that this is perfectly normal. And in fact, it is not.
Well,
it is
if you're-
not normal to spend $800 to $1,000 for a product and it's bent out of the box.
Yeah, so if your iPad is bent more than 400 microns, that is a manufacturing defect if it comes out of the box that way. So it's interesting that they have an actual number. 400 microns is 4 sheets of paper.
Yes. It's a significant bend.
Yeah. So any more than that, that would be a defect. 400 microns or less is within tolerance, which is apparently less than the tolerance was on the previous versions.
Really? But the previous version didn't bend. Well, now I can't.
You just had to push it.
Was it as thin, though?
Harder.
Right.
Right. Yeah. The new ones are thin. That's the thinness and lightness.
Yeah,
And most people are saying they wouldn't mind a couple of millimeters thicker if you then make the battery thicker and give me another hour.
Well, that's what we
Exactly
keep
right.
saying, even with the phones. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's the big thing. They keep getting the phones smaller, or, thinner and thinner.
Right.
And it's like for a few millimeters, bulk it up another couple millimeters.
And give me another hour.
Give me another hour or so of the battery life.
Yep.
Because let's face it, most people get their phones and they put it in a protective case. And then they put a screen protector on it. So, all this thinness.
Right. Goes away anyway.
Yeah, so if you're not worried about, because, it's got to be super thin and then you're going to put it in a case, forget it. Give me that other, thickness back so I can have longer battery life.
Right.
When my phone was in the case, I almost never drop it. But if I take it out of the case for any reason, I'm guaranteed to drop it.
Immediately. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just law
It just
of-
leaps out
law
of your hand.
of phones, yeah.
Yeah. I have the Google Pixel XL now, and I love it, but I haven't even put a case on it. I'm going commando, and maybe I'll print one.
I always see people put their phones in their back pocket.
Yeah,
I don't understand that
And
at all.
How do they not bend?
Mine
Yeah.
hasn't. It's been...
I just stopped carrying my wallet in my back pocket because it would bend.
No, I put it in my bag. That's where I carry it all the time. I haven't had an issue with the Pixel.
You got a flat butt. Many of us don't.
Yeah. Those of us without a flat butt have
But
more of a curvature.
I do like this this case because it has protected it. I mean, I've dropped it, right flat, and it's a Tech 21 case, and it's been great. I swear by them. It's held up. So,
I thought about printing one, but I haven't done any printing with nylon yet, so I don't know.
ooh, there you go.
I don't know.
Are you gonna? Whoops.
Sure.
Are you yeah, just break it. I did you cancel your first printer?
No.
That hasn't come yet?
No. No, it's coming. It's going to come. I don't have a problem with that. It's going to come, but I brought this. I bought an
He's
Ender,
getting to practice ahead of time.
I bought
with
an
the other
Ender
one.
3, I've been printing some stuff. I'm very proud of this print. It's very clean, no layer lines at all.
Did you have to sand it at all?
No, I've done nothing to this.
That's nice.
I'm just thank you. I'm really pleased with the Ender 3 is a heck of a machine. I put it together and
just don't play games with it.
No, Ender games. Thank you. Thank you. He'll be here all week. Tip your wait staff. I put it all together and then I had parts left over. I went online and kind of everybody says it's not IKEA. There are extra parts.
Because they know you're going to drop something?
Well, yeah, it's just extra. Well, here's the problem. Sometimes you need 4 M25 screws. You get 4 M25 screws. Then you need 4 M30 screws, and you get 6 of them. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's just whatever they bought in bulk. You get a pack of 6 for $1 or a pack of 4 for $1, whatever it is, and they just throw those in. So sometimes some of the screws had extras. So I guess as long as you don't have an extra gantry arm sitting around, you probably did okay.
Yeah, screws and nuts and washers.
Yeah,
you can count on usually most. Count on that they'll put an extra in there, or 2, because people always lose them. Or you're trying to sit there and do it, and all of a sudden it drops, and it rolls somewhere, and it's like, where the heck did that roll?
Yep.
You know it's there, but you can't find it, and it's like,
I expected I would do that, and so what I did before it came is I bought a little box of M set screws, M5s, M3s, M whatevers, and I didn't even have to open it, so I'm very proud of myself. I didn't lose a single screw. I tried a couple of times,
but to no avail.
To misplace one, but I got it. I found it, and I've discovered that the thing that I print best is cat toys.
Yeah.
That is to say, whatever I print
is a cat
toy. It's a cat toy.
My 3 would chew that up so...
Yeah, I haven't given them anything yet because I don't want them chewing on the plastic.
Yeah.
But, and I made this in vase mode. Or if you prefer, vase mode. Or exterior, what do they call it? I forget. But it's exterior spiral contour, spiraling contour. I don't remember, but it means there's no internal supports at all. It's crushable.
That makes it tricky too sometimes.
Yeah, I miscounted the layers on the bottom. I have to thicken that up on the next one. But other than that, I'm very proud of it. It's very cool. Yeah, there it is. It's in Sun Punch Yellow.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
And you finally got to use some of the filament you've been buying.
I bought filament for a year. There's a company called Maker Geeks, and they have something called the Grab Bag. It's half price filament. It's their same quality filament. It's just, if they make extras.
Yeah, they can only probably keep it
price.
Around so long, and then they got to sell it.
Right. So I've been ordering one of those every month, figuring it was going to be 3 or 4 months before my printer came, and I'd have 5 or 6 or whatever rolls of filament, and that'd be enough.
Well, that's what used to back in the what was it, maybe it's got to be at least 10 years now. When I was working on the Z printers, and those work with a sand material,
right?
And I always found it fascinating because, here it's got this bed. And what happens with the Z printers, it's all, like I say, sand. And as it's building the object, the bed slowly sinks.
Right, and it does a layer at a time. And
because it's doing this layer of the sand. And then what was always cool, because, like anything, it usually ran it overnight.
Sure.
You come in, machine sitting there, and all you see is this square box and all the sand. So all of a sudden you hit the evac button, and the sand's being sucked off from the bottom of the sides, and slowly you start to see all these images appear out of the sand, and it's like, whoa, that's way cool.
Yeah.
And, some of the stuff that they did in it, we were doing 3D color stuff and all kinds of cool stuff. It's just fascinating what they can build with it. And they were using it, a number of companies like Nike.
Yep.
They would sit there and do these prototypes for the different soles of their sneakers. and then they'd send it off to the manufacturer and say, yeah, here, we want you to replicate this.
Right.
For Sol. Oh, okay. It was a lot
they're doing
cheaper.
that now for rapid prototyping. It's called laser sintering, and it's actually a metal, powdered metal. Mm-hmm. And they do it with lasers, and they do a micron, a single layer, and they laze it, and that coagulates it and makes it a metal part. And they put another layer on top of that and add that, and another layer, and then over time they build up. So very, very similar to the plastic layers that you do with this.
Well, the same.
And when they're done, they have an actual usable part. They actually have one on the space station. So now instead of sending up 24 wrenches, and 24 screwdrivers and 24 whatevers, they just send up the laser sintering sand. It's metal, actually. It's powdered metal. And if they lose a wrench, they just make another one.
Make the parts, yeah.
Yeah.
Upload even the design or whatever, the dimensions and all that. Because, that was one thing with the Z printers, too. Excuse me. Even though it was sand, you could add other chemicals and treat it, and then it made it rubbery. Yep. Or that it would move, and moving parts and bend and not, break.
Yep.
And that I thought was cool because we had this one thing we made when I went down to the school to learn about how to repair and set them all up. But it was literally this round sphere, and it was a bunch of gears.
Yeah.
And they had
moving.
You'd sit there and turn it, and all these gears within it turned. And it was all made out of the sand, but they had rubberized it.
I actually can do that with this. Well, not with this rocket, with the 3D printer.
Yeah.
You can do the same thing now with those.
Cool.
It really is kind of amazing the stuff you can build.
I've seen some of the other folks online, Steve and a bunch of them that are making different parts. And it's like, whoa, that is so way cool.
Yep.
How far it's come since.
And the interesting
and the prices on how far they've come down. It's now, you can get an okay one for $100, a decent one for 2 or 3.
And that still surprises me. I mean, here we're, coming to the end of the year and, coming up on 2019. But it was just back in, the 80s when, we had these desktop computers and they had the floppy drives on them and you weren't doing other than spreadsheets and a few other things. Yeah, you were happy.
And you were pushing the power of that machine.
Yeah,
and how expensive they were compared to today's pricing and the mass producing of stuff. Folks are pretty lucky right now that are buying stuff that, to get into computing or anything else because it is far cheaper than, 30 years ago.
Than 10 years ago. And the quality of the products are still pretty high and the power. My printer cost me $159. The material that I put into this was 6 cents.
Yeah.
So even if I amortize the $159 over the next 5 years, say, this thing cost me about 7 cents to make. And I can make.
And you sell it for $9.99.
I could sell it for $9.99.
But wait, there's more.
No.
Exactly. But the thing is, now that I have tuned this in, I can print 1,000 of these.
Mm-hmm.
At just 6 cents a piece. It's and of course that doesn't take in. That's why it's $9.99. It takes into account your time and all the other stuff that you do to design it or whatever and all those things. But not that I'm selling anything. I'm not. But the idea is that.
Well, it could produce, future business for other entrepreneurs.
There are people who make a living selling 3D items.
Yeah.
One-offs usually. I want a bracelet for my child with her name on it or whatever it is. And you can print those fairly easily. You create the design and you show them the design and they okay it, and then you print it and you send it to them. And the reason that they tend to charge more for those, that's nice, a dual color one. The reason that they tend to charge more for those is because they're, you have to design it. You have to actually make the part, and if there's a screw up, then you eat that cost, right? And not every 3D print comes out perfectly, particularly when you have cats helping. Yeah.
Helping.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, exactly. But there's some pretty amazing models out there, including NASA has a whole set of their various spaceships and parts and also lunar landscape and Mars landscape, and there's pretty much you can find a 3D model for dang near everything these days. It's pretty amazing the stuff that's out there to print. And so now it's just a matter of, you need more than one 3D printer because you're printing something on one and then you need to be able to start something on the next one.
Now, I got to work out the math, but if you print two at once next to each other, is that faster than printing one at a time?
It's actually a little slower because there's travel time between the two items. That
would make sense.
Yeah. But you can still, you can print. I could have put 10 of these on the bed because it's a little over 8.5 by 9 inches tall, 8.5 square by 9 inches tall, and so I could have put a 10 or 12 of these on the bed, particularly if I angled the fins so that they were much closer together.
And then just come back in a day or two.
And then you just come back in a day or two. Yeah. I haven't quite gotten to the point where I'll leave it attended because some of them have thermal runaway, and that's not good.
That could be bad.
Have you gotten the ball of spaghetti yet?
Oh, I got a small one. Yeah. I was very excited. I got my first spaghetti monster.
Huh?
When you start to print something and it screws up and the filament's still coming out because it doesn't know it's screwed up, and so it just balls. It just makes a little ball of filament spaghetti. Yeah. I had one of those while I was doing the tuning, and it wasn't properly tuned yet, and I made a little ball of spaghetti. I was right there, so I caught it fairly quickly. I was torn just between letting it go on, watching the spaghetti ball build up, or stopping it, and I eventually stopped it. But it's a very, very cool little hobby, and I'm enjoying it immensely.
Yeah,
and it what's nice, and to be serious for a minute, I have pretty severe arthritis, so I don't make things anymore. Building this 3D printer was hard for me because there's a lot of little screws, and I'm severely arthritic. But now that I've done that, I can make things again.
Yep.
I can design things and then let the 3D printer do the fiddly work that my fingers can't do anymore.
And probably there's other drawings and that out there that folks share anyway.
There's a million of them. There's a million of them. There's a site called Yeggi, YEGGI, Yeggi.com. And it's a search engine for 3D prints. Some of them are crap, but a vast majority of them are pretty nifty. I got to be honest, pretty doggone nifty. It's a pretty nice thing.
And there's Thingiverse. Now it seems like there's a bunch of them have popped up now for getting 3D models.
And that's the point behind Yeggi. It searches all of those.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's called 3D and even Pinterest and other places like that. It searches all of them and puts together lists, so you can go up at the top and say, I want to find whatever, and rocket, and you'll see all the rockets that are available. So it's pretty cool. And some of these are obviously, you've got to have an awfully big printer, or you've got to have multiple material printer, or be able to print nylon or whatever. But certainly not all of them. And in general, it's pretty cool stuff. And I'm quite impressed. You can actually download plans to print a 3D printer. Yeah. Which people do quite regularly, as a matter of fact. The whole idea behind 3D printing was the RepRap project, RAP, was to actually design a printer that would print another printer. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Back in just a couple minutes. Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick, Francesco, and you. 30 minutes after the hour. Soundbites, member-supported Jazz 90.1.
It's America's longest-running computer show. Back to more Soundbites with Nick, Dave, and Steve. Next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
If you want to support Jazz 90.1 a lot, but your budget says only a little will work, there is a way. It's called the Jazz 90.1 Jazz-O-Matic membership. You can support Jazz 90.1 with a monthly gift of $10 or more, while enjoying the many great thank you gifts that we offer. Jazz 90.1 will deduct that amount automatically every month, and should your circumstances change, you can cancel at any time. Support Jazz 90.1 the way you want to, without bruising your budget. Jazz-O-Matically. For more information on becoming Jazz-O-Matic, call 966-5299 or pledge online at jazz901.org.
Did you know you can listen to many Jazz 90.1 programs on demand in our online audio vault? They're like Jazz 90.1 podcasts, where you can listen on your computer or on your phone with our Jazz 90.1 Android or iPhone app. Hear the latest editions of Sound Bytes, the Blues Spectrum, Big Road Blues, the Soul Jazz Spectrum, Soulstainable Living, Jazz 90.1 live in-studio concert recordings, and other shows too. To listen on your computer, go to jazz901.org, then to the Listen tab, and pull down to Audio Vault. Once there, scroll down to see all the shows and simply hit the play button on the show of your choice. On our Jazz 90.1 phone app, click the name of the program to open and play the file. The Jazz 90.1 Audio Vault. Just one more way Jazz 90.1 takes jazz further for you.
What's small, attractive, and worth lots of money? It's the Jazz 90.1 member card, and now it's worth more than ever with the addition of 35 wineries to the list of restaurants, stores, and other businesses in the Rochester area, discounting prices exclusively to members of Jazz 90.1. You can even use your card when you travel in the United States. It's a great way to reward yourself, all while supporting Jazz 90.1. Don't have a Jazz 90.1 member card? Get one by making a pledge of support at the $90.10 level and above to Jazz 90.1. For more information on becoming a member, you can call 966-5299 or make a donation online at jazz901.org.
Titans go!
When the Teen Titans go to the movies, they know the best way to travel is safely.
Hollywood, here we come!
Road and you know it's super.
To keep your child safe, be sure to use the right car seat for their age and size.
Exactly.
We're finally on the big screen.
Have a seat, my dude.
For more information on finding the right seat, visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Gotcha. That's a wise move.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The Greece Central School District has 3 in-district food pantries to support students and their families. You can provide year-round support to neighbors in need by adopting a shelf at one of these pantries. Any group or individual can participate by committing to donate 40 or more food items a month. If you can't commit to supporting an entire shelf, donations of any amount are appreciated. Learn more by calling 966-2409 or by visiting greececsd.org.
Jazz 90.1, streaming online worldwide at jazz901.org.
How'd you like to wear your shirt and eat it too? This is Sandra Tsinglo with the Lowdown on Science. When fibers are plucked from a cotton plant, what's left behind are a pile of seeds practically bursting with protein. Unfortunately, they're also bursting with a bitter-tasting toxic chemical called gossypol. It's the plant's natural defense against insects. Since the 1950s, scientists have been trying to get rid of gossypol and turn the inedible cottonseed into a nutritious little snack. Then came a breakthrough from researchers at Texas A&M University and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The scientists interfered with the protein made by a key gene and slowed gossypol production down to a trickle. Result, a much mellower seed, while the rest of the plant is still protected from pests. The same technology could apply to other crops with toxic parts, like fava beans. What could that mean? About 40 million metric tons of cottonseed are produced annually around the globe. From that, you could feed 500 million people each year and clothe them to boot. Talk about dressing tastefully.
The Lowdown on Science is produced by LDOS Media Lab in partnership with the University of California Irvine Science Communications and 89.3 KPCC. On the web at LOHDOWNonscience.org.
This is Sandra. Follow us on Twitter at LOHDOWN.
Here's the latest Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
Variably cloudy, blustery, and colder today across Rochester, western New York, and the Finger Lakes, with a few snow flurries around and even a little bit of limited lake snow east of Rochester into the Finger Lakes for the first half of the day. Temperatures will drop into the 20s by later this afternoon with a gusty breeze. Tonight, look for patchy clouds and starlight. The overnight low temperature near 20. The better of the 2 weekend days for tomorrow. For the day, you can expect times of clouds and sunshine and a high in the middle 30s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
Currently, we've got overcast skies, 35 degrees out at the airport, and 30 degrees here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, this is Jeff Harris, joining me every Sunday night from 5 to 7 on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 36 minutes after the hour, we are Soundbites, and we have Gary from Rochester, New York on the line. Hi, Gary. What's up?
Hi. I had some questions about the Security Tango and then a comment about a scam that I didn't fall for but had a little different wrinkle, and I might warn some of your listeners about it.
Great.
Okay. The questions about the Security Tango is I had my computer in a shop recently to do some work, and I had the whole Security Tango on it. And the particular technician who worked on the computer, whom I trust, I thought he was very, very competent, was kind of down on Avast. And he said sometimes it removes stuff you really don't want to remove. And he encouraged me to get the paid version of WebRoot, and I've been using it, and I just wondered what your opinion was.
I don't entirely disagree with that. Avast is just one of a number of products that we talk about. Avast is free, and that's why a lot of people like it. But no, there is no antivirus program that is perfect.
No.
All of them have a little bit of
some kink or something.
Yeah. They have false positives.
Yeah.
And again,
which
it's
is
that
probably
game...
better than false negatives.
Well, exactly right. I'd rather have it be a little too diligent. But again, it's that game of leapfrog.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you upgrade regularly.
Yes.
So yeah, he's not wrong. He's not, and it's not. Avast is not a bad product. It's just every once in a while, one of the updates is a little too zealous in what it gets rid of.
Takes away, yeah.
And the same is true for pretty much any of the antivirus programs.
Exactly.
In fact, there was a roundup. One of the major magazines did a roundup of all the AVs, and Windows Defender generally comes out on top or in the top 5. And I kind of give the edge to Windows Defender because it's built by Microsoft. They know the inner hooks of the OS, where any of the add-on AV software has to figure out how to hook into the OS, so it may not be as decent.
Right.
The other side of the coin is that viruses as a class are way on the downturn, and it's the fake viruses and fake tech support that is becoming the bigger threat.
Yeah, the bigger scams.
Right.
But there's a lot of old viruses still floating around.
Right. The other problem that I have with Windows Defender is that it doesn't get updated quite as regularly as some of the others.
Yeah.
If it gets updated once a month, you're lucky.
Well, exactly. But other than that, it's not a bad product. So yeah, your tech is not wrong. It's just that, you know, as with every story, there's always the rest of the story.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He's not right and he's not wrong.
Right.
What I miss about Avast is that it had this screening mechanism, and as it would mail things coming in, it would inform you. But with the paid version of WebRoot, it's working all the time. So, and it does update automatically. So that seems to help. That's a trade-off as well.
Right. And in general, of course, I'm always encouraging people to pay for their software.
You could have gotten the paid version of Avast, and a lot of that would have been
a lot
automated.
of that would have been there too. But WebRoot is not a bad. It's a good product. It's a very good product.
Right.
Like I said, your tech is not wrong.
Right.
And it just, you know, it's what makes horse races. Everybody's got an opinion.
That's right. The other question I had about the Security Tango is, I believe on the Security Tango website, one of the ones, a rootkit that you recommended was Bitdefender, and I did download that. Does that sound right?
Bitdefender?
Yeah.
I don't have that on the actual.
Well, I'll go back and
thing,
look,
but it is in the rootkit removers section, and Bitdefender is a good product. It's just one of the rootkit removers that I recommend, along with Gmur and
that's the one I downloaded, and I just have the free version at this point. And the question I had about it is that it works so fast. You click it on, and in a second it says it's done.
Yeah.
And is that really true?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes, because it's only looking for rootkits. It doesn't do anything else. And that means what it checks first is the master boot record of the hard drive.
All right.
If that's clean, it's done.
Okay.
If it's not clean, then it searches for where that infection is coming from.
All right. I do run the other three that you recommend. There's one that looks like the Red Cross symbol, and I can't remember the names of all of them, but I do all three of them. And they go really fast, too.
Yeah, and that's the point.
Yeah.
Sophos and Avast and Gmur and Bitdefender all go fast because the first thing they do is check the master boot record. If that's clean, they're done.
Okay. And the comment about the scam, that I didn't fall for it, but it was a little different wrinkle on an old trick. And the first one that came up, first screen came up that tried to imitate a document from Microsoft, and the only thing that I identified it as a Microsoft product, or falsely advertised it as a Microsoft product, was it had the old logo for XP, that sort of wavy, multicolored thing. So that was a giveaway. But the first message I got is that you're running an older version of Windows. Click here to find out more. And it was very interesting to me that it was about 5 minutes after I just downloaded the latest update from Windows. so it was pretty bad timing on their part. And then another screen came up a few seconds later that said you have 3 viruses on your computer. So click here. And it was interesting. I just finished the Security Tango, so it's certainly possible I had 3 viruses that it didn't catch, but it looked so bogus. I followed your advice and shut the computer off, and it disappeared.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So you were just lucky enough to be.
Different wrinkle. Maybe other people have gotten it many times too.
No, thank you, Gary. Absolutely, we see it more and more often. As Steve said earlier, the biggest new way that people are trying to get into your computer is through these scams.
Yeah.
You've got a virus, call this number. We're Microsoft, call us now, et cetera, et cetera. First, they will never, ever, ever, no legitimate company will do that.
No.
So if you get one of those, just laugh and move on. Reboot your machine or just close the window or whatever it is you're going to do.
Yeah.
And you'll be much better off.
Yeah, I found shutting it off with the power button and then restarting it.
Yeah, that flushes the memory and any residue or anything else of that.
Right. When you do that, take a slow count to 10 before you turn it back on again.
All right.
For 2 reasons. One, that lets the power supply cool off a little bit, which is good.
Yeah.
But also, memory has a half a second, 2 second delay, depending on the memory you've got, before it really flushes itself completely.
Okay.
So by counting to 10, you're going to make sure you hit all those parameters with no problem.
That's a good tip. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Gary. Have fun.
You too. Bye-bye.
Sure.
And one of the other reasons to wait is because then it gives that site owner more time for someone else to have noticed it and removed the malicious ad that it came from.
Right.
So if you go right back to that site again, you could get the same malicious ad.
Right, which is one thing, which is a tip for whatever web browser you're using. Most of them have the ability, they have a place in the settings where you can say, reopen my last set of tabs.
Yeah.
Well, turn that off, because if you were on a website that gave you that message, you'll go right back to it.
Yeah.
So turn off that open my last set of things. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Harry from Penfield, New York. Hi, Harry. What's up?
It's Larry, and I'm still getting used to my new Chromebook, and I'm having an ongoing problem that I need some help with.
Sure.
Right now, well, initially my default search engine was Ask, which I've totally deleted because I didn't like it.
Sure.
So now it's set as Google, and I'm trying to get it to be set to DuckDuckGo.com, but there's no way to do it. I've tried everything. I'm in the search engine setup, and I can't do it.
That's a good question. I'm looking that up now. That's a very good question. Setting up DuckDuckGo. I don't know that that's one of the standard setups that you can do. There we go. Search engine, Google, Yahoo, Bing, Ask, and AOL. No. But if you go into Manage Search Engines, let me see what we've got here. Under Other Search Engines, I go down to D, and it's taking a long time to get to D. DuckDuckGo is not in there. How interesting is that?
There was an add button, though.
Yeah, there's an add button. You can add
add your own.
Right.
Well, I added it to the other search engines, but that's all I can do. I can't make it the default.
There should be a Make Default button on the right of the address after you type it in.
Yeah.
Well, there is. There's more actions, and you get to edit or remove from the list.
Well,
but under edit, there's no way to make it default.
No, but once you've added it under other search engines, on the right are those three dots.
Right.
If you click on those, one of the choices is Make Default.
Not in my system. It just says edit or remove from list.
That makes me think it already is the default. Try clicking on your default one and see if it doesn't give you the Make Default button. Yeah.
Yeah, that only lets you edit. Doesn't even let you delete. So if you go in and do a search from the address bar, it doesn't come up to DuckDuckGo?
Well, yeah, I can get it that way if I specifically go through an extra couple of steps to get it, but I can't make it the default.
So let me ask this question a little differently. Up at the top, you have an address bar where you would type in securitytango.com or whatever.
Right.
If you type in a search query there, what search engine does it use?
Google, which is a default.
Huh. Okay, hold on a second. Let me find DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, so on Nick's Chromebook, he has that Make Default button on
DuckDuckGo.com. Okay, that was easy.
Yeah, on the search engine list where he can make that the default.
Okay, so if I go down to I didn't save it. Did I? No. All right. So here I am. I'm going to add one. I'm going to add DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. I don't need a keyword. I just want it to be https://duckduckgo.com. And I can't add that. Oh, I have to put the query, %s. And I still can't add it. Why can't I add it? Why don't I have a keyword? Got to have a keyword. Duck.
On the fly tech support.
On the fly tech support. So I have now added that to my search engine stuff. Now I go down to it, and under DuckDuckGo, there it is. I can make it my default. So I'm not sure what you did differently. Did you put that %s after the URL name?
Probably not.
There you go. It can't be the default if it doesn't know what to do once you bring it up. If you put that %s, it means whatever they type goes in.
With or without a space.
So it's https://duckduckgo.com space %s.
And then that should let you then make that the default.
Did that make sense? Did you see what I...
Well, I'm a little slower than that. Let's see. I want HTTPS / duck.
Yeah, duckduckgo.com.
Go.com.
Space. Just put a space in.
Okay.
%S. That percent.
S is in Sam.
S is in Sam, right. S is in search. And that
Okay.
says this is the thing we're searching for. So now you save that as one of your things. Now when you go into those 3 dots, you should see make default as one of the choices. And when you then make that your default, then anytime you put in a search query up in the address bar, it should use DuckDuckGo. And for the rest of you, the reason that Larry likes DuckDuckGo is because it is a search engine that protects the user's privacy. Doesn't do any personalized search results, doesn't save your results, doesn't do any of that stuff. It is designed, at least they say, right? It's designed specifically to do privacy browsing, protecting your privacy. They don't show ads. They don't They don't take ads. They don't do any of that stuff. So DuckDuckGo is strictly, frankly, what Google used to be.
Yeah. But Google is one of the largest advertisers on the internet, so even they don't show ads on their page, but you're getting Google ads because of it.
Right. And when you get a result, it shows. You often see that the first couple, or 3 or 5 results are ads, and they specifically say that. They do say they're ads. They point that out, but it is there. Okay.
Well, I'm still having a problem here. When I click add, it doesn't do anything. It just sits there.
Click add where?
And add search engine, when I first typed in what you told me to type in there.
Yeah. Oh, okay, because it's not lit up yet. You have to have a name for that search engine under the search engine line. You have to have a keyword. I just put duck. And you have to have that URL, which is https://duckduckgo.com, then a space, then %S.
So all 3 fields have to be filled out.
Right. You have to fill out all 3 fields before you're allowed to add that as a thing. What that keyword means is that you could now, up top, even if it's not your default, you could say duck space and a search term.
Alrighty, now I did the edit as default.
Okay.
So that should have made it. Yep.
But it didn't put it up there. It says dictionary.com quick search is a default. How?
I honestly don't know what you did here, Larry, but I promise you, if you had followed my directions, because I just did it, if you had followed my directions, it would be I set my default back to Google now, but if you go into DuckDuckGo and you make sure you have all 3 of those things and add it, it will now add it. Then you hit those 3 little dots and select make default, and it will be your default.
Yeah, I must have hit the wrong one or something when I did that.
That may be. That may certainly be because it was also with a D, so it may have been right above it.
I posted a link.
Right, and Steve posted a link so you can go through it on your own to see how that works.
Okay, thank you very much. That's been annoying me since day one.
Sure, no, I get it, but you should be able to set DuckDuckGo as your permanent internet search engine, as your default internet search engine, if you just follow those steps. And so go back and double check that, and you should be fine.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. It is tough.
It's interesting sometimes as an experiment to do a search with your regular search engine, and then go into private browsing in a new window and do the same search and see the different results. And they call that the filter bubble. One of the things that search engines learn is what you click on. So you do a search and then click on stuff. So you will get more things related to things you've already clicked on. so
Right.
you won't necessarily see something out of the, way out of the blue. But that becomes sort of a self-reinforcing a system where you only see things you like, so you only see things you like, and you never hear about anything else.
Right. For many people, if you were to search on your name, for example, you would get one set of results in regular and a different set of results in incognito. Now, Steve has a problem that there are a lot of people with the name Steve Ray.
And a famous actor.
Right, including the famous actor. I have. There seems to
Hey,
only
wow.
be.
I'm on the front page.
Nice.
The real
Look at
me.
you.
And
Wait, but that's not.
It's my
incognito.
Google Plus listing that I haven't
Yeah,
looked at in what, years?
Years, yeah. But
Because I'm using Google.
Right now, if
Yeah.
you were to go into incognito mode
Yep.
and search, you might not see you. I still see me because there aren't that many Nick Francescos out there, and I'm a lot on the internet, a lot. Oh, look at that! One of the choices they give me is Nick Tango. How interesting is that?
Because it must know your security tango is tied to your.
Well, a lot of people, I know
Yeah.
that it's the #1 link. There's also Tango class by Nick. That's not me, by the way. I do not teach a tango dancing class. Just so you know.
You look good with a rose in your mouth.
I do. And the high heels, I look dang good in high heels.
And
he
a
can
dress.
tell you that.
And
Yes,
a dress.
Yes, I do.
I've seen it.
Yes, he has. But
don't want to see it again.
No, you don't. But that's doing it in the incognito mode is a whole different thing. But yeah, Steve is right. There's the little bubble that you get into when it knows who you are. That's another thing about DuckDuckGo. Theoretically, at least, it doesn't do any of that tracking of you, and therefore, not only can people not follow you, well, you can still get cookies and stuff. Of course, that has nothing to do with the search engine, but the search engine itself doesn't track you or sell those tracks, as almost every other search engine does. So it's an important distinction to make that if you want something like DuckDuckGo to be your default search engine, you can do that. It just takes a few steps, no matter what browser you're using. And yes, it's true that DuckDuckGo doesn't seem to be automatically available, although there are an awful lot of search engines, and a significant number of them are in fact available there. But you will find that you can add any search engine you want, including your own. If you've created a search engine, I suppose I could add Yegi as a search engine.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be interesting.
I just pulled up the website. It says you can even add it to the Chrome. You've got a button there that, if it goes to the DuckDuckGo website.
That's a good point. Yeah, and it gives you instructions on how to make it your default browser in the browser you're in.
Yeah, it says add DuckDuckGo to Chrome, and looks like a button. Yeah.
Yeah, so scroll down.
Yeah. Oh, there it is right here. Add DuckDuckGo to Chrome. Right there. Boom. There you go. Look at that. You can, so Larry, it's even easier. You can just click the Add DuckDuckGo to Chrome button and bang, you're there. All right, that music tells me you've wasted an hour of your life with this nonsense, but we're going to give you the chance to do it again because we're not done. We have a whole nother hour, the last hour of the year of the longest running computer show in the known universe. That's right. You're listening to Sound Bytes with Dave Enright, with Steve Ray, with me, Nick Francesco, and with you. It is 59 minutes after the hour, and we will be back with a whole nother hour right here on the Truly Great. And truly grateful to you that we can continue, even in these perilous times, to be member-supported Jazz 90.1. We will see you on the other side.
Computer talk you can understand. More Sound Bites is next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
WGMC Greece Rochester. A public service of the Greece Central School District. Jazz 90.1.
On Instagram at WGMC Jazz 901.
The federal government shutdown is likely to continue into the new year. Correspondent Polo Sandoval on the impact of the closure.
380,000 employees are furloughed and another 420,000 are still working without pay, including the TSA. The Smithsonian Museums and National Zoo will be closing its doors beginning January 2nd, and even the Panda live stream cameras going dark.
President Trump tweeted today that he's in the White House waiting for Democrats to negotiate. A suspect has been taken into custody in the death of a California police officer. Correspondent Sarah Seidner reports on the arrest of Gustavo Perez Arriaga.
Deputies caught up with Arriaga at a home near Bakersfield, California, after a massive manhunt. Several people were arrested, including Arriaga's brother and a co-worker, who were accused of lying to authorities and impeding their ability to find him faster.
Law enforcement officials say Arriaga was in the U.S. illegally and was trying to flee back to Mexico. I'm Ann Cates.
I missed a mortgage payment, but now I'm turning things around. With Sam, I can.
Sam is Smart About Money, a free online resource from the National Endowment for Financial Education. We're an independent nonprofit foundation dedicated to helping people just like you get sound information about money at samican.org.
Business has fallen off at work, but I'm getting prepared for whatever the future holds. With Sam, I can.
Get empowered. Reach your financial goals. Visit samican.org.
Millions plan for retirement online. Estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, and manage your benefits all from the comfort of your home. And give yourself the freedom to do what you want offline. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? By shifting to a system that gives more patients access to strong primary care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
Here's another I Love New York travel tip.
New York State warms up in January with fun, exciting, and delicious events for everyone. January 17th through the 19th, the Albany Chefs Food and Wine Festival presents Wine and Dine for the Arts, celebrating the food, wine, arts, and culture of India. Family fun abounds throughout the village of Pulaski at the 8th Annual Salmon River Winter Festival, January 25th through the 27th. The festivities include a snowshoe walk-run, ice skating, sled dogs, snow sculptures, children's activities, crafts and vendors, and more. And New York's finest amateur athletes are gathering in Lake Placid January 31st through February 3rd to take part in the Empire State Winter Games, which is patterned after the Olympic program. To learn more about these and other great January events in New York State, visit iloveny.com. Find what you love in New York State.
From beautiful blooms to vegetables and everything in between. Join me, Melinda Myers, and listen to Melinda's Garden Moments to find out how you can become an expert gardener right in your own backyard.
Thursdays at 1:40 p.m. and Sundays at 11:40 a.m. Only on members-supported Jazz 90.1.
The police called after midnight when they caught our son at a drinking party. It was a real wake-up call. A policeman suggested we try Al-Anon family groups. I didn't want to go to a meeting, but I'm glad I did. Are you troubled by someone else's drinking? You might be surprised at what you could learn in an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
Hi, this is Kim Corcoran, hoping you'll join me on Sunday afternoons for Two on the Aisle, Broadway at its best. 2 hours of Broadway musicals. Classic shows like My Fair Lady and West Side Story. Classic composers like Rodgers and Hammerstein, Stephen Sondheim, and Lerner and Lowe. And all those fabulous performers like Ethel Merman, Carol Channing, Bernadette Peters. Well, we'll play them all. That's every Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. Hope you'll be there, because I'm saving you a seat here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
I missed a mortgage payment, but now I'm turning things around. With Sam, I can.
SAM is Smart About Money, a free online resource from the National Endowment for Financial Education. We're an independent nonprofit foundation dedicated to helping people just like you get sound information about money at samican.org.
Business has fallen off at work, but I'm getting prepared for whatever the future holds. With Sam, I can.
Get empowered. Reach your financial goals. Visit samican.org.
Welcome back to America's longest-running computer show, Sound Bytes, on member-supported Jazz 90.1. Get online now. Call 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll-free 800-790-0415. Or submit your question by email at soundbytes.org. Once again, here's Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And it's 6 minutes after the hour. We are Sound Bytes. We're hoping that all those of you who celebrated some form of holiday or are still celebrating some form of holiday that gets a present got what you wanted and are happily computing away or 3D printing away or whatever way you're doing. And we're happy to hear from you. And just as we're talking now to a different Larry from Spencerport, New York. Hi, Larry. What's up?
Yeah, I was listening to your program there, and you were talking about 3D printers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got an Ender 3 myself.
How do you like it?
Good. I'm just getting into it and trying to learn how to do some 3D programming. But one comment is when I get anything like that, I usually take the parts list, the package list, what they have, and check them off to make sure I got everything.
Yep.
And like on those, you were mentioning about the screws and stuff. I noted on each one of those they had extra. Some of them had 2 extras, some had 1 extra. So I wasn't surprised at the end when I didn't had extras or didn't have enough. So
yeah, I looked at the package and saw I've got M4 30 screws. And I thought, okay, good. I just didn't count them. I should have, and that would have saved me a moment of angst.
And one question I had is, you mentioned that you were getting filament someplace at a lower price, and I missed the name of that, and I was wondering if you could repeat that.
Maker Geeks, MakerGeeks.
MakerGeeks.com.
MakerGeeks.com.
Okay.
And they not only sell lots and lots of filament, but they have 2 cool things. One is the Geek Box, I think they call it. Hold on.
Okay.
Grab bag.
The Maker the Geek Box is cool stuff. They put together a box every month. It's a kind of a subscription, and you get a different box every month with stuff in it, like cool projects and samples of filament and things like that. The thing that I'm talking about specifically is the grab bag, which currently seems to be this third thing down on the list there.
Okay.
And what that is they make an awful lot of filament every month, and they have extras. It's a full spool. It's their regular filament, but it's generally half price.
Okay, good.
And even less if you buy more than one.
And if you buy more than one, so you get and it depends. And I usually wait. There's a sale every once in a while. You get once you're on their list. I tend to buy my filaments in batches of 4, which gives you a discount.
Yeah.
And I wait until they're half price. So the yellow that I used, the Sun Punch yellow that I used to make this was about $10 a kilo.
Oh, okay.
And it's free shipping.
Okay, good.
And quite often, the 35% off coupons are common. 50% off coupons come out frequently as well.
Yep.
It's like there's always just after you bought one, there's a better coupon.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the one thing you have to do is you have to decide what size your filament is. I use 1.75 millimeter filament. Then you get to pick your material, maker, the PLA or the PETG or whatever it is you're going to use. The thing you don't get to choose is the color.
Okay, I see.
That's the idea behind the cheap price.
Okay.
So I have 3 kilos of Sun Punch Yellow.
So it's good to test with.
Well, it's exactly what I'm
Yep.
doing with it. It's the thing I put. I've got 3 kilos of it, 3 spools of it. I use that one first.
Why don't you start selling your excess on your website? And then
Yeah, the unopened ones, absolutely.
Yeah.
They have pearlescent and they have glow in the dark.
Yeah, they do.
Cool.
They've got all kinds of filaments.
Okay.
And you can do. They have the Maker series, the Crystal series, which is translucent. I've got some of those, and they have the Raptor series, which is a special filament. I don't have any of that, but
Dragon Metallic sounds cool.
yeah, they've got some amazing things that are generally not part of the grab bag.
Yeah.
Those are the specialized filaments.
The dishwasher safe. I can see some custom Flower City coffee shop mugs in your future.
Now you're talking, but those are the dishwasher safe ones, and they ain't cheap.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the information.
No, thank you. Good luck with those. I recommend. So far, I've been very pleased with Maker Geeks.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I'm very pleased with them. So far, that's where I've gotten all my filament, and it came out gorgeous.
Yeah, it did. It came out very smooth.
It's nice, very smooth, very clean. It took me a while to dial it in. I had it way too hot at first, then I had it way too cold.
Anything like that, you've got to take your time. I mean,
right?
You're making something that is literally layer by layer, and that's the last thing you want to do is see seams, bumps, or anything else.
Yeah, the first I printed out one of these and it came out perfect, and then I changed some parameters and printed one twice as big, and when I picked it up off the build plate, it broke apart in 3 places because I thought, okay, that's too cold. The filament wasn't hot enough to bond properly. That was the issue.
But that's how you're going to learn.
That's how you learn. That's not a problem. I didn't have a problem with that. But it was very cool. I'm just having so much fun with it. It's a hobby that I can do, like I said, even though I can't whittle anymore. I can't. Painting is hard. All that stuff is hard. But doing this is a matter of designing it on the computer or downloading somebody else's design, and then just letting the computer do the hard work.
And even those programs, there are free versions to learn on Cura and what's the Slicer?
Slicer, SLIC3R.
So there's 3D modeling programs that are free that let you create your 3D model. And then the next step is you have to slice it into those 1.75 millimeter slices.
Right.
And so it slices it into 1,000 different slices, and then prints those slices. So, and all that stuff is free to start with. And then when you grow beyond that, I'm sure you could build something in something bigger.
There's a great program called OpenSCAD.
Yeah.
And it is essentially a programming language. So you write code that builds the thing. So people are doing all kinds of weird mathematical structures that can't be easily or well designed in real life.
It's a computer cooling fan.
And you can design a computer cooling fan, and it's just a program that does that. You tell it what to do and how to do it. There's a great one, and I can talk about this because my daughter doesn't listen to the show. That's a labyrinth. It's a puzzle box. It's a puzzle box. It's a cylinder, and the top part is a labyrinth, a maze, and you have to unscrew it in the right way
to open it up.
Yeah.
Cool.
A little to the left, a little to the right, all of that. And it's I forget what the word they use, parametric. That's not right. Maybe. But anyway, it's in OpenSCAD. So you go in and say, I want it to be so tall. Because it's a programming language, so there's variables. You say, I want it to be this tall. I want it to have this many changes, whatever they call them in the thing. And then you hit the button and it prints it. And then you print another one and it's different because it randomizes it. So it's very cool. They're all unique. It's very cool. And there are lots of programs like that. There's online programs like Tinkercad, which is a very easy but very free online version. So I can even do that through my Chromebook. I could create and slice programs in my Chromebook and do that, or I could use SCAD on my Linux box, or my Windows box, or my whatever box, SCAT or Cura as a thing, all kinds of stuff like that. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Sherry from Rochester, New York. Hi, Sherry. What's up?
Hi. I called you last week about a calendar thing from the Galaxy S6 to my new Google Pixel phone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did find an app. Well, not really an app. It was it's the Smart Switch from Samsung. You can do it to your PC.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, but the only thing is the file comes up as, I guess, like a Samsung-type file. So you can do it to Outlook and get the information from there. Yeah, just for your review.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Sherry.
Do you know who made the program?
I didn't look that far into
It looks like
but
Samsung
I know I got it
itself
from the
makes
Samsung
one.
Website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The online thing.
And they've got it for Google, iOS, Mac, and Windows.
Nice. Nice. Thanks, Sherry.
No, you can't do it to Google. I mean, they do have it for iOS, but you have to put it in. It's a Windows application. Yeah.
Yeah, they have it for Mac, Windows, and Android.
Yeah, it says here, get it on Google Play, yeah.
Right. So that's how I can get my calendar info. And
Great.
Well, perfect.
Yeah, but the question I have now is on the Google Pixel phone, I did like the Samsung messaging app, and I wondered if you knew of any apps that work like that I can put on my Pixel phone. Because the Google app, messaging app, it doesn't allow you, like if you want to delete messages, you can select as many as you want and delete. On this one, you have to do them one at a time. I don't like it. I was wondering if there are any apps out there for messaging that work similar to the Samsung message app.
Wow, there's so many of them out there.
I know.
I haven't really researched those as much as perhaps I could have, but there's cheese and crackers. There's a dozen. There's a million of them. Android messages, of course, you don't like that one. There's one called Chomp. There's another one called Evolve. Don't use Facebook. Hand Sent is cute. Mood Messenger. Pulse SMS.
I've looked at all of them, but it's not all of them, but quite a few. I was just hoping you knew of one that worked similar to the Samsung app.
No, I'm sorry. I wish I did. I just don't.
All right.
I'm sorry.
But most of them are free, so you can try them, and if you don't like them, delete it and try the next one.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Okay. Well, thanks anyway.
Sorry.
All right.
I can hear your disappointment. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, here's one called the Galaxy SMS.
Is it from Samsung?
No, it's from Digital Underground.
No.
Where are you calling from?
But it may work like the Galaxy one. It doesn't run on my Mac, which I knew, but...
Well, right.
So yeah, fortunately, most of the apps in the Google Play Store are actually free, so you can try one, see what you like.
Yeah, you should also check the rating. Look for the ones, like you said, there's a lot of them there, but you can start with the ones that have, say 4 stars or better, and check those out, and then work your way down. And while you're going through there, too, it'll show you the different features. If you take the time to scroll down a little bit on the various apps that you're installing, it'll show you different screenshots and everything else.
Yeah, and also I tend to spend a lot of time reading the reviews.
Yeah, yep.
That's always been important to me on any product.
Yep.
Back to the phones. Our next caller is Jack from Greece, New York. Hiya, Jack. What's up?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm a member of the station.
Thank you.
I have a desktop PC running Windows 10. Recently, I've been seeing a lot of pop-up ads for a PC repair outfit that wants to scan my computer and sell me a repair license.
Yeah.
The name is Reimage.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if this is a potential scam, and
Yes.
how can I get Get it off of my PC.
Yes, it is not a potential scam. It actually is a scam.
It is definitely. Have you heard the reimage name before?
Oh yeah. It's you can. Well, it's not entirely a scam. They will. You don't.
They
want
will
it.
scan your computer.
They will scan
and they
your
will
computer.
take your money.
And they will take your money. So they're honest about that part. My suggestion is you just are these coming in as pop-up ads?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your web browser?
Mozilla.
Yeah. The problem is you need to run this is a Mozilla pop-up remover. The problem is
obtrusive ads is a one of the big hits against any company.
Right.
Yeah.
There is a pop-up blocker built into Firefox.
Thought it was on by default though.
Well, theoretically it is, but it may not be for him.
How do I find it? Under Tools?
Yeah, here's the way you get to it. The menu button, which is the 3 lines.
Upper right-hand corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, click on that and choose Preferences.
Ooh, maybe it's already in there as an exception.
Preferences? I don't see that.
Okay, I'm not running Firefox, so I don't. Hold on, Steve has Firefox.
I was looking on the Mozilla website too. I have preferences. It's command comma. So on Windows it would be control comma.
Control comma.
In the preferences window, or in the tools menu, the preferences window.
You say you're running Mozilla. Which Mozilla browser are you running?
Firefox.
Okay, then theoretically there is a preferences choice somewhere on that menu list. They don't make different versions.
Well, if I click on Tools, there's nothing there.
Nope, it's not in Tools.
Okay,
it's right at the top
in the
level.
upper right-hand corner?
Yeah, that upper right-hand corner, there's 3 lines. That's the menu.
I clicked on that, and I got a whole list of things, but I don't see preferences.
It's right in the middle
Dang near in the middle of the list.
I got Restore Previous Session, New Private Window, New Window, Content Blocking, Library, Add-ons, Options.
Yeah,
Content blocking.
I don't have that one. And preference
Do you
on mine.
Do you have privacy and security?
No. No.
Privacy?
No.
Try hitting Control comma and see if that brings it up.
I honestly don't know what you're looking at. I apologize. I don't.
Well, there's the 3 lines in the upper right-hand corner that you mentioned.
Yeah.
I clicked on that.
Yeah.
And you get a bunch of pictures. Yeah.
No. Well, the pictures and menu commands. On mine, there's a section Library, Add-ons, Preferences, Customize.
I got Library, Add-ons, Options, Customize.
Try Options. Some computers say Options, some say Preferences.
Right.
It's interesting they have different words for the same program.
Product. I know.
Okay. Well, I open that. It's General. It says General Home Search.
Yep, that's it.
What's it?
That's what we're looking for.
Okay. So what's next?
And then in the search window, in the little search box, sort of in the upper right corner of that page, type pop, and you're going to find the pop-up window, block pop-up windows command.
Search pop. I click on search.
No, click in the search box.
There should be in the upper right corner a search box
where it says
a little
find.
Box you can type into.
Find in options or find in preferences on mine. Just above and to the right where it says general.
It might have a little picture of a magnifying glass in it.
I don't see anything like that.
All right, so now we have to find it the hard way.
Okay, so under privacy and do you see on the right privacy and security? On the left.
Yeah.
Privacy and security.
Yeah.
Click on that.
I click on that. Now I see content blocking.
It should say forms and passwords, history, cookies and site data.
Doesn't matter. Content blocking. What does it say under that?
block third-party content like ads or code that can slow your browsing and track you around the web.
That's one thing. That's not what we're looking for, but
okay, choose what to block. Trackers only in private windows. Always change.
Yeah, the blockers is not what we're looking for. Those kinds of blockers are not what we're looking for.
Yep.
What we're looking for is pop-up ads,
which is under permissions in my section. If I keep scrolling down to get permissions, it says block pop-up windows.
Right. So if you were back on that first privacy and security page.
Okay, I see permissions, block pop-up window, that's checked.
Right, and then go into exceptions and make sure that website is not listed as an exception.
Yeah, do you have anything in the exceptions list?
I open that, it says allowed websites pop-ups.
There you go.
You can specify which websites are allowed to open pop-up windows.
Right. Is there anything in that list?
There's nothing there.
Okay, down below in that box, that section below, there's
nothing there.
Okay.
So nothing is allowed. So it's not a pop-up, it's a pop-under?
Could be.
Yeah, so.
The other thing it could be is when he installed something else.
Spyware, malware.
It added a service to, it could be a service that was added to Firefox. Or it could just be malware in your machine.
Could be under add-ons. So back to that upper right corner of the three lines, go to add-ons and look through your add-ons and your extensions to see if there's anything weird in there.
Yeah.
Add-ons and extensions.
So it sounds like somewhere along the way that company installed something in your browser to give you more ads by them.
Right. Or it could be malware. The other thing to do is to dance the security tango. It might not be coming from a website or through the browser. It may be coming from a virus, malware.
I have McAfee antivirus and anti-spyware on my machine.
Okay, is it up to date?
I did a scan and it said no issues found on my PC.
Okay, then it may well be something in the browser, but honestly, I can't.
I would recommend, in using that, also download Super Anti-Spyware. No one program does it a thorough job.
Super Anti-Spyware?
Yeah, try downloading that and running that and see what that finds. Because, like I say, we recommend Super Anti-Spyware and Malware Bytes because no one program can get its hands and, fish around and find everything. So that's why we rely on two.
Okay, I'll give it a try.
All right, let us know.
Thanks.
All right, thank you very much.
Yep.
And I've also posted a link from the Mozilla help section on how to deal with pop-ups, how to find the pop-up blockers, what may be happening if it's not coming from the browser, that it could be coming from somewhere else instead of just a pop-up window in the browser.
You know the routine.
Right.
Okay.
So something to look at too to be safe.
The problem, of course, remains that the bad guys are constantly working hard to make sure that they can get at your machine whether you like it or not, and so that's a problem. It could be coming from any one of 1,000 things. Do we have somebody?
Yeah, but we're coming up on a break, so...
all right, so we'll hold on for a minute to do that.
Tell you what, we'll go ahead and take a break, and then we'll come back to Tom from Brighton.
Perfect.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbytes.org. More with Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Millions plan for retirement online. Estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, and manage your benefits all from the comfort of your home. And give yourself the freedom to do what you want offline. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see? Every moment can be kind of special. But they can be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments, it doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Make a day with the Jazz 90.1 Enhanced Member Card and enjoy 2-for-1 savings all day long. When you make a gift of $90.10 or more, we'll send you a Jazz 90.1 Member Card. Then enjoy savings at hundreds of restaurants and attractions near you. Call 966-5299 or visit jazz901.org right now and let your savings begin. Official WGMC contest rules are available online at www.jazz901.org.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? By shifting to a system that gives more patients access to strong primary care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
I missed a mortgage payment, but now I'm turning things around. With Sam, I can.
SAM is Smart About Money, a free online resource from the National Endowment for Financial Education. We're an independent nonprofit foundation dedicated to helping people just like you get sound information about money at samican.org.
Business has fallen off at work, but I'm getting prepared for whatever the future holds. With Sam, I can.
Get empowered. Reach your financial goals. Visit samican.org.
And now, a check of your Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
Variably cloudy, blustery, and colder today across Rochester, western New York, and the Finger Lakes, with a few snow flurries around and even a little bit of limited lake snow east of Rochester into the Finger Lakes for the first half of the day. Temperatures will drop into the 20s by later this afternoon with a gusty breeze. Tonight, look for patchy clouds and starlight, the overnight low temperature near 20. The better of the 2 weekend days for tomorrow. For the day, you can expect times of clouds and sunshine and a high in the middle 30s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
And currently we've got 35 degrees with overcast skies at the airport and 34 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
This is Mike Velasquez. Join me every Monday from 8 p.m. to midnight on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 33 minutes after the hour, we are Soundbites, and we have Tom from Brighton, New York on the line. Hi, Tom. What's up?
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon. Listen, I know there's always concern about when you put something into a search engine, like whether it's Google or some other search engine, how the information is used. Now, supposedly, Alphabet or Google doesn't, make sure not to track your name or where you're located. But they certainly do amalgamate the information that's put in.
Right.
For instance, if I'm searching for how to build a search engine, Google is getting that information.
Sure.
Even if I have suggestions or my own ideas about how to write a search engine, that's something that Google can acquire. So does that mean people really do have to be careful if you're working on, let's say, a technical project and you don't want Google or Alphabet or some other company to acquire the information you're putting in, that you really have to edit and be careful about what you're putting in?
Yes and no, and here's why. First, it is very unlikely that you have an idea about search engines Google hasn't had yet. But let's say you do, and let's say it's a brilliant idea and you want to protect it. Any search engine you use, you have to trust that they're not tracking your information. Now, DuckDuckGo says they don't. Many people trust them. Google says they only aggregate data, and many people trust them. And mostly they're aggregating for, they aggregate for advertisers' information, right? So they want to know that 25,000 people searched for 3D printer. But they don't care that some guy named, first they don't know it was some guy named Tom from Brighton, but they don't care that some guy from Tom from Brighton clicked on something that may not have any commercial value as such, right? Because they don't, I mean, you're lost in the noise. There's a billion searches a minute on Google.
Exactly, and that's the point. I only use the search engine as an example. Suppose somebody's searching for, or not searching, but working on, let's say, a new voice recognition algorithm or a voice synthesis algorithm. And let's say there's 100,000 people around the world who are working on some form of algorithm like that. By using Google to search and do research on that kind of application, Google is acquiring that information.
Right,
and that can definitely help them, in their work.
Well, right. Now, look, if it's something that Google is already interested in, they've probably got 1,000 people already doing those searches anyway. Yeah. But you're right. They will get that information. Is it lost in the noise? Or will they find it through you or on its own? Or how does that work? I don't know. Honestly, don't know. There's no way that I can tell that. But you can search in incognito mode, which means it isn't tracked to you, but it's still tracked. Or you can use a search engine like DuckDuckGo, which says they don't keep track of any of that stuff. Or you can open up a Tor browser rather, which theoretically is secure, but who knows?
But look, I mean, we all, there's constantly news coming out about data breaches and people stealing information, and I'm not even speaking now about the more serious, perhaps, level of what about people who are working on, let's say, government projects and maybe even classified work where that information can be hacked. Who knows what North Korea is doing in terms of hacking into Google's database of information.
Right.
Well, the answer is we don't know. Right. That's the real answer.
Right. And industrial espionage is a big issue in most companies.
Right. And I do happen to know that Google has an entire building full of people who spend their day checking that China and Korea and et cetera, are not breaking into their databases. Are they successful? It's the same old game of leapfrog, right? The bad guys only have to be successful once.
Exactly.
The good guys have to be successful every single time, and I get that. But the idea is that they're doing what they can, and that's really all you can ever ask anymore. The reality is, if you're going to search for something on the internet, somebody's going to know about it.
Yeah.
So let's say I decide, I thought of a really great name for a website.
Oh, this happens to me all the time.
I wonder if somebody else has it. So how do you search for that without giving it away?
And then 10 minutes later, when you decide to really buy that and go back to buy it, someone just took it.
There are some ways to mitigate that, at least a little bit. But the reality is that at some point, you better be ready to say, if I want to get, this is the best website on earth.com, and I see that nobody else has it, I better be buying it right this second.
But ultimately, it's sounds like an unsolvable paradox, really.
It is.
There's no way to eliminate the risk.
I agree with you. There seems to be no way to fully mitigate, completely eliminate the risk for something like that.
And on the other hand, with 40,000 search queries per second, it's unlikely a human is looking at any of this.
Right.
Other than the general trends.
Now they flag certain things. Obviously, they flag for a search term of bomb and president in the same. That's sort of fair, right?
Sorry, Rob.
Sorry, Rob. Somebody
when the black helicopter shows up,
right. Just flagged this thing, and it's going to be on YouTube too. So here we go. But the idea is that certainly things like that will be flagged. But are they in fact flagging everything? And I seriously mean that. If you type in the term search engine, is that lost in the noise or is it flagged?
Yeah. And you pointed out Google may be more reputable than others, but as you pointed out, there are other companies that are working on search engines.
Right.
And they don't have the resources that Google has.
Right.
And therefore, they're more susceptible to these break-ins or these data breaches.
Right. That's exactly right.
Or even worse than that, to deliberately mining the information that's going through their search engine and using it to their own advantage.
Right, and that's true of all these places that that you see them pop up on television now, ads for VPNs. Well, what that means is you've got somebody who actually your everything is going through their servers. Do you know who they are and what their servers are doing with your data?
And with respect to my what I said before about classified work that the government is doing, does the government have their own search engines?
Of course they do. Search engines that you never have access to and that they protect completely. And the way search engines work...
Although the way the government works is probably every building has their own because none of them can share.
Yeah, exactly. But the way a search engine works is what it really does is it goes out and spiders around the web, gathering all kinds of information and saving it on their databases. So when you search for something through Google, it doesn't go off Google's server. What it does is you say, I'm searching for search engines, and it goes through its databases full of search engine information and sends you back the results. The NSA, I'm sure, does the same exact thing. So if you've got a secure line into the NSA and they've got their secure database and you get a secure answer back, nobody else knows that you did that search.
Okay.
Theoretically.
Right.
Right. All of this is theory. Nobody knows what the practice is.
Yeah. But it sounds like at some point there already are breaches. We all know about those. There's going to be catastrophic breaches in the future. It's pretty obvious.
Well, the obvious point, you're absolutely right. The point here is that, Willie Sutton probably didn't actually say, when he was asked why he robs banks, he probably didn't actually say that's where the money is. But the point is accurate, right? If somebody's going to spend a lot of time and money and resources to break into a database, they're going to want to break into one that's useful to them. Right. I've got up on the web, I fully admit, I've got a database of all the 3D prints I've made. How is that useful to any human being on Earth? I can almost guarantee you, unless there's some idiot listening right now who just decides to do it for fun, I can almost guarantee you that nobody's ever going to break into that database. And if they did, who cares?
And the amount of time that it would take.
Right.
I think you underestimate yourself.
Well, thank you. But in that particular instance, really, there's nothing interesting in there, at least not yet. But the point is that, yes, if I were Google, I would be worried every single second about somebody breaking into my databases. And if I were the NSA or the CIA or the FBI, I would really, really, really worry every second.
Bruce Schneier, who is a well-respected security researcher, has a new book out called "Click Here to Kill Everybody."
You're right.
About security and survival in a hyper-connected world. That now there are so many Internet of Things. So many things have Internet connections. Your cars have Internet connections. Your microwave has Internet connections. That it is technically possible to click a button and someone will die because you turned the brakes off on their car, or turned them on in the middle of the highway, or set the thermostat to 0 in the middle of winter. And it's I just saw him interviewed on a show, and it's interesting and scary to see how these things are progressing. And one of his biggest points is that there's no penalty for breaches in security. That Equifax, pretty much every U.S. American that has any type of credit, their data got lost by the company keeping all our data safe. And then big exploits, Marriott and Home Depot and Target, pretty much every company that's been breached, there's no penalty, and they get some bad press for a few weeks until the next problem happens. And they apologize and say they'll do better, but there's no penalty. So if there was, and partly, and this has been a defense where someone has tried to sue someone about a breach, well, you can't. It wasn't our fault we got breached. Someone broke into our system, so you have to sue them. Well, you don't know who them is, so there's no one to sue.
Right.
But if there was a penalty, so if for example, he was using the Marriott breach, 500,000 Marriott records were lost. And if there was, say, a $10 per record fee, penalty for having that breach, companies would put more effort in security. It's easier to apologize after the fact than to put money into security, because the market doesn't reward security. It rewards speed and low cost.
Right.
And by adding security, that raises the cost and delays the release.
Right. Well, and there's this thing. Well, there's this thing about people say, "Oh, I put a piece of tape over my camera so nobody can track me." Well, okay, they can't see you, but they can still hear you through the microphone. But the more important thing is, now people are buying for their homes devices whose entire purpose is to show your face. The Amazon Show. It's even it's in the name.
The Facebook portal.
All of those streams go back to a central set of servers at Facebook. If I've got to break into everybody's laptop and turn on their camera, that's a lot more work than breaking into one set of servers at Facebook and seeing everybody's face stream. Or FaceTime from Apple, or Duo from, well, I know Duo is person to person, so there's no central point it goes to. But you see my point there?
Yeah.
As long as there's a central place, then there is a central point that needs to be protected.
We habitually carry around a spy device with us all the time now. The government doesn't have to spy on us. We're doing it ourselves.
Right. It's called a phone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, thank you. I'm going to pull the shades on all the windows right now.
Hide under the bed. Make sure there's nothing under there before you get under it.
Okay, take care.
Good luck, Tom. Bye-bye. Yeah, it's quite true. There's a, we don't think about it, and maybe it's good we don't think about it, but it's an open world out there now, and no matter how much they try to protect it, and the more centralized something is, the more likely it is that somebody's going to try to break into it.
Yep. Well, like you said, Equifax. Yeah. And that got me that they turned around and got breached. Our bad. And then they want you to sign, go in over there. They'll do a deep scan. If you sign and say you won't sue them for losing all your data.
Right.
It's like, no.
And their penalty was to get a big government contract a few months later.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, in essence, there is no penalty for getting a breach.
There is no penalty for being breached, and so why put money into unbreaching, to protecting yourself from a breach? No, I get it. It's a very
slippery slope,
screwed up system. Yeah, it's a slippery slope. It's a screwed up system, and there's no way. I don't know that there's a way to fix it unless the government were to say huge penalties for breaches.
Well, that's the whole thing, and we've said this for decades. This is no different. It's a game of leapfrog. Putting up barriers and everything else to try to avoid breaches and spyware and malware and everything else. It's like they put up one wall, And then the pirates and everything out there are doing due diligence to get around that. So then they put up another one, and it goes on and on and on. And that's basically what it is. It turns it into a game for the hackers to see if they can breach.
Right.
That's what they live for, because if they can breach, now they could get valuable information.
They sell those data for millions, if not billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And like we said, the good guys got to win every time. The bad guys only got to win once.
Yeah.
With the fall of the Soviet Union, the various SSRs had a lot of great programmers who suddenly had no jobs.
Yep.
And the dishonest elements came in and said, we'll pay you to become a hacker. Well, a significant portion of those really fine programmers are going to say, absolutely, I need to feed my family.
Yep.
And I don't care what happens in America. It doesn't bother me. So there's serious corporate espionage going on at very high skill levels. It's not all script kiddies. There are enough of them out there too, but it's not all script kiddies. It's some of the finest programmers on the planet whose entire job is to track and break into important databases.
Well, just like we reported last week, they nailed about 5 or 6 telephone scamming companies in India. Because a lot of these places, because they're overseas, they can't do squat to them.
Yeah, they raided, I think it was like 8 or 10 companies and have arrested 20 or 30 people.
Yeah.
And they got the scripts that they use to help,
scam people out of money.
Yep. And so they'll be able to teach people better how to learn what the fake buzzwords are.
But I'll guarantee you they didn't get the people at the top.
Yeah.
Oh, heck no.
They only got layer 2 or maybe layer 3. And the people who got arrested were the people probably who didn't understand they were doing something
and just
illegal.
trying to earn a living.
Trying to earn a living.
In a country that was probably very depressed anyways. And, hey, like you said, they're putting food on the table. That's their main thing. It was a job. They were being paid. They were doing this. Oh, well, that's it.
I always want to hope that they don't know it's a scam. They're following a script just like the other companies that paid them to follow a script.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't know that they were doing anything malicious at that low level.
Yeah.
They just knew that if they did this, somebody paid them every day. If they don't know it's that the company, that they may not know they're not working for Microsoft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm working for Microsoft. I got a script that says Microsoft. It says do this, and we help them, and I did that.
Yep. Because they're farming it out because we can do it so much cheaper.
Right.
You know, and they can probably hear that on the news that any channel they change to, that, we ship a lot of stuff overseas because it can be done cheaper. So why wouldn't they believe it?
Right. And they know the friend who works for Microsoft, right? Or who works for any of the big companies.
Because that's what he was told.
And that's what he was told. And so his friend says, we're looking for another guy. Can you speak English? Well, and if you can't, or at least semi-well, and if you can, then we have a job for you. Careful, you're about to pull the phone off the hook, off the table. And if you can speak English at all well, then we have a job for you. I had a student in college who was pursued by a number of those companies. She was from India, and she spoke English flawlessly, and they pursued her like mad. Of course, she had a much better job offer from a small company in America called Microsoft. But they pursued her because she spoke English so well. And that's what they want, is people who speak with hardly any or no accent. It's a long-standing issue. And, if you're somebody who is earning pennies on the dollar and you're over there and you don't know if you're really working for Microsoft or not, they may not tell you that. You can't assume that the people on the other end of the phone that you're talking to know they're doing something wrong. Certainly the higher-ups do, but they may not.
Yeah, they have a script that says if you have this, it's bad, and we want to help remove it. So we always get a kick out of the people that if you call the number and let them do their script, they will try to prove to you that you have a virus or that someone's hacking into you. They'll have you open a network monitoring window and show your network connections.
Right.
Well, you've got a lot of network connections. Your clock is checking the time. Your browser is checking, to see if the page has been updated. They'll have you look in, what was the one I liked? There was a file type, it wasn't VIR. There was some very common file type. There's an exe file. Well, that means you have a virus installed. And so they're going out of their way to prove that you have a problem, so you'll give them your money.
Right.
That could just be a script. They don't really know if you do or not.
Right, yeah. Exactly. All right, that music tells us we're done. We're done for the year. I'm done for the year, guys.
Take it off.
That's it. I'm done. I'm taking it off till next year. We want to thank everybody who called in. Please, if you're going to call in early, and we will be happy to take your call next year. Next year, no more work this year for this. I want to thank Dave Enright. I want to thank Steve Ray. So I will. Thanks. I want to thank all of you for yet another magnificent year. Thanks to each and every one of you, all the folks listening and watching and everything else. We'll be back next week with a whole lot more of the longest-running computer show in the known universe. Don't go away. George is coming in to play the best German music you'll hear all week. We'll be back to see you on Soundbites on member-supported Jazz 90.1 in just 166 hours.
Millions plan for retirement online. Estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, and manage your benefits all from the comfort of your home. And give yourself the freedom to